Well, we're at the beginning of day 4 of the Old Guys Rule Nevada 1000 Hot Springs Tour. Today, this morning, we're gonna go find the B-24 crash site, which is located right up on the hills above us here. And then beat feet for Fields, Oregon on this gravel freeway about 30 miles to the north. Because Denio is out of fuel and we're about out of gas here. So this will represent the full range capability of this fuel tank. It will be close to 300 miles between fuel stops. I haven't got fuel since day before yesterday in Gerlach. Welcome to Nevada, the land of many rocks.
That's pretty cool. I'm going to take a picture of it.
Yeah. Well, that last bit getting up here was not easy. That was a rocky, steep bitch. Much air in my rear tire bouncing around the rocks. I think we're here. Whew, that was a workout. Hats off to Hodaka guy for dragging all that monument stuff up here. Yeah, there it is. See the engine part from here. There's an engine right there. 1-800. There's some aluminum right there. Get it. Wow. Okay, we're here at the site of the B-24 crash site in the Pueblo Mountains just outside of Denio, California, or Denio Junction. And this happened February 9th, 1945. 10 crew members were killed. It was a navigational training mission between Boise, Idaho and Hamilton Field. They had made it down to Hamilton Field and were working their way back up to Boise, and they were doing some maneuvering here in the mountains at night. I don't know if they were in the weather, and they ended up impacting this Pueblo Mountains, not very far, as typically is the case, not very far from the top of the ridge. This is an amazing wreckage site. There's a lot of stuff still left. Leave everything in its place, please. And this memorial was done by, I think, by Hodaka guy, one of the adventure riders here recently. Very nice memorial plaque. Thanks, guys. Somebody left a little brandy for the crew. We'll sign the guest book here in a minute. But let's go look at some of the parts you can still find. There's 4 engines, 4 2800 Pratt & Whitneys, and I think this one was placed here in, I don't think it ended up here as a result of the crash. I think, yeah, a small electric motor. Here's a piece of possibly an engine mount. Don't know what structure that's for. 2800, that's 2 rows of 7 cylinders, air-cooled radial engine, very common engine used during World War II. Supercharged, not turbocharged, but supercharged. We'll show you that in a minute. Geared off the back of the accessory case here. Here's a cylinder off the airplane and burned. Yeah, here's example of the Lord mounts, the engine mounts, and the mount itself in a round configuration, bolted onto the back of the engine, held the engines on.
I'm surprised I'm not seeing much of the airframe and stuff.
Yeah, most of the airframe got burnt up. I wonder if this was part of the wing truss structure. It's got a lot of a lot of clamps though, like it's in the engine compartment. These little doofers here operate the cowl flaps. Open and close the cowl flaps to the engine. Spark plug leads, wires. Fairly large piece of the airframe, probably fairly close to the center section, based on the proximity of those bolts are real close together. Real strong section of airframe there. What do we got here? With the coolers, we got what looks like an oil cooler in there. I think this is one of those stack style filters, oil filters, I believe. I'm not sure. We're down below the debris field a little bit. Here's an example of the superchargers. One of the superchargers run off the back of the accessory case of the engine, compress the air, supercharge the engine, give you sea level pressure up at altitude, sea level manifold pressure up at altitude. Here's a wastegate controller right here. Of course, here's one of the huge landing gear off the B-24. Wheels now, this portion does not appear to be magnesium. Brakes all burned up. Heat discoloration. And look at this. This looks like some armor plating here. Wow. They just grenaded this airplane when they impacted. I mean, look at it, just blew the cylinder right off. Cylinder head, there's a valve. Exhaust still attached. Big old poppet valves. I don't think this thing moved an inch when it hit the mountain. It just exploded from the impact. This engine got all the cylinders knocked off of it. Well, not all of them, but here's a valve sticking out of the stem of the valve and the spring sticking out of the head, busted off head. Spark plug. And this is the broken drive shaft that runs the accessory case off the back of the engine. How those gears failed on impact. Here's a nice control wheel pulley operating the flight controls, and the original stainless steel cable still wrapped around it. Another engine mount, possibly. Yep, there's another engine mount right there. This is the lightweight baffling they use to direct the airflow around the engines. There's some part number stamped on there. More mounts, probably for cowl flaps. Here's some interesting accordion. Watch out for snakes. Another supercharger. Some melting going on in the back there. We found all four engines. All four engines are still up here. Aluminum casting of some kind. Here's the other gear leg buried into the mountain. So we wonder where the point of impact was. Somewhere right in here. Of course, over the years, the rock slides tend to cover a lot of this up. Oil cooler? I'm not sure. Oil cooler. More of that structure. Center section structure, possibly. And a lot of burning going on in here. Just melts it down to nothing. There's plenty of your hydraulic hoses. Aluminum. Here's another hydraulic, hydraulic actuator. Contract number, Delta Electric. A lot of different folks were in the manufacturing process of the B-24, including General Motors. here's where you can see. Okay, here's where you can see the the gears under a load, and then getting the impact damage while under a load. The way that they failed there. Yeah, don't forget to sign the box, guys. Hey, look at that. A generator or a starter. That's pretty small for a starter motor. Here you can see where the rock slides over the years are starting to bury the wreckage. The aluminum alclad's still in good shape. Electrical components. Junction box. Now what I don't understand is the color of the exterior of this aluminum, this red. I don't know if it's faded to a different color from something else. But I don't know who was running that color of paint. Even in the training squadrons at the time. All the millions of pieces to put one of these together. It's all down in there. Which direction does the plaque say? Yeah. They were heading southwest? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, coming from Hamilton Field, heading towards Boise. Hamilton Field, of course, being right outside the Bay Area. Marin County. Yeah, keep the stuff here. And there's another supercharger. Yeah, these are the oil. This is supercharger inlets. So there's still little bits and pieces, fragments, just ripped to shreds way above the impact zone. Almost made it. What caused the crash? Not sure. Probably controlled flight into terrain at night in the weather. Remember, these guys are very young, very inexperienced crew members doing these training missions. That's why they were out here training, was to learn how to do it right. And of course, flying at night in the mountains, you're very susceptible to disorientation, spatial disorientation, and there was weather involved. That's very easy to do. Of course, 1944 was long before any of the modern conveniences that we have today, as far as terrain avoidance features. That's handy. Well, we signed the logbook. We'll let these guys rest in peace.